A Visit to the Past, Episode 10. The sign for Stillwater, Oklahoma caught my eye as I drove down the highway. I hadn't planned to stop there, it was just another dot on the map, but the name tugged at something deep inside me. Stillwater was my hometown, the place where I'd spent most of my life before the road. It had been years since I left, too many memories, too many hard goodbyes. But as I passed that sign, I found myself taking the exit, Miss Daisy humming along as if she knew where we were going. The streets looked smaller than I remembered. The old diner on Main Street was still there, its faded sign barely holding on, and the park where I used to walk Sadie seemed quieter, almost forgotten. I parked near the library, a place I used to visit on lazy afternoons, and sat for a moment, just taking it all in. Sadie looked up at me from the passenger seat, her tail wagging softly. "Well, girl," I said, scratching her behind the ears, "what do you say? Ready for a walk down memory lane?" We wandered through town, stopping at places that once felt like the center of my world. The house where I'd lived with my late husband had new owners now. It looked the same on the outside, but the garden we'd tended together was gone, replaced by a patch of gravel. I stood there for a while, memories washing over me like a tide. I could see us on the porch, sipping coffee on cool mornings. I could hear his laugh still echoing in the corners of my mind. Sadie nudged my leg, pulling me back to the present. "Come on," I said softly. "Let's keep moving." Further down the street, I spotted a familiar face. It was Joyce, my old neighbor, sitting on a bench outside the bakery. Her hair was grayer and her shoulders slumped a little more, but it was her. "Marge?" she said, squinting at me as I approached. "It's me," I said, smiling. She stood and wrapped me in a hug before I could say another word. "What on earth are you doing here?" We sat together on the bench, catching up as if no time had passed. I told her about life on the road, about Miss Daisy and Sadie and the places I'd seen. She told me about her grandkids and the changes in town. "You look happy," she said finally, her eyes searching mine. "I am," I said. "It's not the life I expected, but it's the one I needed." Before I left, Joyce insisted on giving me a loaf of bread from the bakery. "For the road," she said, smiling. Driving out of town, I felt lighter, like I'd left some of my old burdens behind. The house, the garden, the life I'd built here. They were all part of who I was, but they didn't define me anymore. As the highway stretched out ahead of me, I glanced at Sadie. "Well, we did it," I said. "We faced the past and came out okay." She wagged her tail as if to agree. "The road has a way of pulling you forward, but every now and then it lets you circle back. And when it does, you find that the things you left behind aren't as heavy as they used to be.